Meghan Markle apparently left in floods of tears after this particular, well, how shall we put it, message back to her. As ever, what are we talking about? Hi, how are you? You're right today. Yes, not bad myself, thank you. Well, I say that, I'd love to know your thoughts on this. You'd all love to share things with you. I was in one of our big chemists over here in the United Kingdom. For those that live here, you know, Boots the chemist, you now need a mortgage to go in, don't you? You've seen the price of the hot water bottles. I know, you might, well, you might as well just throw water on the bed and sleep in it. I mean, it just would be cheaper. I don't know how people afford it. I went in there, you know, looking for some vitamins. You know what it's like. And I don't know if it's like this in your part of the world, but you really cannot afford to be ill, because when you look at these vitamins, how expensive are they? £15 this, and they promise everything, don't they? You know, oh, you're going to be zinging out the door after just taking one. And of course, not just £15, I know it's the dollars as well, you know, all of that sort of thing. You know, I know. And then, of course, when you look at that's the cheap range, I might point out. Then you look at the more, shall we say, better range, and that's about £20 plus. And what I love about it is all it is, it's a fancier bottle, isn't it? And they say easier to swallow. No, not when you're passing out through the cost of it. And you see, you're like me, aren't you? You need to get your vitamins and your iron from a good bit of liver. That's if you can stomach that, but you can't afford that. Oh, let's not get going. Back as ever to your breaking raw story of the day. This, apparently, according to a very, very good source, had Meghan literally in floods of tears. What can it be? Yes. Could she have found out that she wasn't as popular as she possibly thought? I know I'm being a little unkind there, but the bottom line is this. When you are Meghan and Harry, you see, you're surrounded by people, particularly now, who tell you how popular you are. And as I've told you, you know, recently in a video, Suits, which is now streaming on Netflix, has validated that to Meghan. She believes that, well, she's popular. You know, people want to watch it. What it is it's an ensemble piece. It's not badly acted, and the storylines are mildly bearable for a short period. She wasn't a lead character, but naturally, you know, Meghan, because of her worldwide fame now, would assume that she's the major draw. But the bottom line is why Meghan was left tearful, something that Prince Harry had to pick up from, was simply this. You see, it was an Emmy snub. And now, as we know, the Emmy snub was a big, big slap down for Harry and Meghan. And the reason being is simply this, that Meghan felt that having the biggest streaming docu-series of the last year, you know, thousands of hours, well, it was a shoo-in. You know, somehow they were going to win that award. Now, as we've told you before, there were the options of presenting an award, but they do not want to turn up in an event where they're simply not going to be picking up any material. And you can understand that from both sides of the coin. But as you move further down the line, you see now the hardest bit is, and this is the tricky bit, that Prince Harry obviously had to discuss this with Netflix to see if a campaign could have been put together. And I can tell you first, an exclusive on the show, that Netflix felt they'd spent enough money already promoting said docu-series. And if they wanted to put a campaign together, then they suggested very politely that perhaps they needed to look elsewhere or fund it themselves, like you do. And so consequently, this has been a bit of a bugbear, not just for Meghan Markle and for Prince Harry, but for a brand new team. You see, the Emmy would have been, in their opinion, something to celebrate, a worldwide stage by your peers, basically saying, you're great. Well, what are you really winning for? A docu-series about trashing your family? How can that truly be seen as great? And many people think that Emmy literally realised this. Neil Sean in the very heart of London.